The one and only Arnold Schwarzenegger once said, "The resistance that you fight physically in the gym and the resistance that you fight in life can only build a strong character." I chose this quote because of how true it is. Those of you who lift know how difficult it can be to stay fit, and life is relentless and continues to throw problems. However, with both in the gym and in life, you can only go up from bad problems. I chose to use a quote from Arnold Schwarzenegger because when I gave you guys a survey and asked the question, what do you think of when you hear the word weightlifter, over 2/5 of you said Arnold Schwarzenegger. Arnold Schwarzenegger is proof enough of the physical benefits of lifting, but there is much more than physical benefits. Other studies have been conducted to show mental and immune benefits. Lifting is essential to stop the decaying of muscles and for one to live longer. George Kelly, a scientist who studies obesity, proves that lifting is the fastest way, along with walking, to lose weight and to lower the body mass index in children and young adults. For this, he took a group of children and young adults and split into 3 groups. One was aerobic exercises, one was cycling, and one was lifting. For this, they lifted for 3 weeks, 50 minutes a day, 3 times a week, or 3 times for 50 minutes, 12 weeks total. And at the end of 3 months, weightlifting along with walking was the best and lowered the body mass index by 31.5% in children and young adults. Right here, as you can tell, this is the aerobic and strength. This is just aerobic. Those of you who don't know what aerobic is, it's like hiking, walking, and going upstairs. And then strength is very little, but combined with walking alone, this is the outcome. It is obvious to see that is the best. However, weight loss is not the only benefit to lifting. Theo, she is Anne Theo conducts an experiment showing that the hippocampus actually grows with lifting. She is a graduated student from college who has a PhD, and all she does is study the benefits of weightlifting in elderly adults. Those of you who don't know what the hippocampus is, it's a part of the brain that is in charge of learning lessons and balance. It is essential for old people to have good balance. For this, she took 2 groups of elderly adults. One group had decaying hippocampuses, and the other group had normalized hippocampuses. For this, she had the 2 groups work out 3 times a week for 1 whole year. Out of 451 participants, 56% had an increase in hippocampus size, and everyone had a better breath and larger muscle mass. Right here, this is like heavy resistance training. This is mild, and this is the total. These are the before and after, so everyone went up. Along with mental benefits, Jens Bo Nielsen writes about lifting and motor abilities. Motor abilities are walking, lifting things such as a spoon, and then running and jumping as well. His reading shows that lifting gives you a healthy heart and a fast metabolism. Having these 2 lowers your chance of getting a stroke, having a heart attack, and even chance of diabetes. As a whole, lifting can strengthen the spine, and it actually helps people with cerebral palsy to walk better. So, at the end of his experiment, he says, people with brain lesions and profound movement disabilities might gain the most from strength training. Strength training may be the only choice when motor function abilities are not present. After months of research, it is clear that lifting has more than just strength. People are now able to feed themselves. Okay. When people think of a weight room, most of you guys think of free weights. These include like a bar and then a rack and a bunch of like 45-pound plates. That is not what lifting is essentially. Free weight exercises include squat, bench, bent over rows for those of you who know, and curls. But there are machines that you can use too that have the same benefits. Machines such as chest press, leg press, bicep cable extensions, upper rows, and tricep extensions. Daryl Scott a physical therapist conducts an experiment to show that there is no difference from using machines versus free weights. In his experiment, he uses the elderly rather than young adults, because in a previous experiment to this one, he has proven that lifting in elderly adults is more important than young adolescents. In a previous research, it states that elderly people who lift have a 28.3% likelihood of not falling in the future. For this experiment, he used 32 people and had half use machine and half use free weights. After 6 months, Scott says, free weight training has benefits to improving leg and tricep strength as well as a subjective perception to other adults. Nevertheless, our results do not overall indicate that free weight training is superior to machine lifting for increasing strength. This experiment is proof itself that it does not matter if you use machines versus free weights or free weights versus machines, because there is no benefit. Not only are there free weight and machines to use, there's also bands. Because some people like to question, is it better to use lower resistance bands with more repetitions or more repetitions and less bands, or less strength? Daniel Souza, another physical therapist, took a bunch of his medical records to see if he could test out his theory. At the end of reading all of them, he said, out of 1,052 studies, one outcome arose. There is no difference in low resistance and more reps or high resistance and low reps. Here's what he used here. These are all of them. There are actually 2,177 studies that he had, but he got rid of duplicates and arose with 6 final analysis. And then he said that there is no difference between high and low and vice versa. Anthea Gilling, the same woman who conducted the other experiment with hippocampus, shows benefits of bands for everyone, and especially the elderly. It is obvious that strength and function of muscles decrease with time as you age, but one who lifts can stay fit throughout their life. Field takes 398 participants from ages 62 to 70, with half using low resistant bands and half using high resistant bands. For 3 times a week, they worked for 1 year. They worked shoulders, glutes, and thighs. At the end of it, she says, 100% of participants saw strength growth, increased muscle mass, and an overall sense of pride. These are all the befores and afters. Before and afters, high, mild, and then overall for both of them, for the low resistant and the high resistant. This is just showing that bands is a great way to weightlift. Throughout this speech, you guys have pointed out there are many benefits to lifting. Lifting is for everyone, and you can use bands, kettlebells, dumbbells, racks. There's free weights and machines. You all know that now. It is a good way to stop the hippocampus from decreasing and for weight loss too. Everyone here, luckily, has experience in lifting thanks to gym class. Now, as Arnold Schwarzenegger once said, I'll be back. Thank you.